I just think that our Star Wars month idea should stick. I think I love this. This is like it's like George Lucas's birthday, the anniversary of these movies, and I've tried
Yep,
to spend
exactly.
some time hitting on the cultural phenomenon of all this. But what was your again? I think you said it last time, but let's just rehash it.
Hmm.
What was the first one you saw in the theater?
Oh, the first one I saw in the theater, I do believe it was The Phantom Menace.
Okay,
Gosh, they came out in the late 90s. So it was
yeah,
like, what,
99.
99? So I was just about 11 years old then.
Okay,
So I was I was close to 11 years old. So I was a young girl, and I was in I actually, to be quite honest, enjoyed Phantom Menace. I didn't understand the
there's
hatred
no
of it, to be
shame.
quite honest.
I am a Phantom Menace apologist in that I kind of thought, well, it's kind of the same structure as the original story. I mean, it's really not structurally a whole lot of changes. Obviously, Jar Jar's irritating, and it's very clunky with dialogue and whatever. But it's
Yeah.
George. Like at that point, we all knew, or at least most of us. I was just happy to have Star Wars back. I have to tell you, I really, really did. So,
And it's
um,
and it's and it's interesting because my parents, my mom especially, always talked about how she saw Star Wars as
mhm.
in, A New Hope in
Yep,
theater,
yep,
and she saw it in theater. So it felt cool as a kid being able to see the prequel movies, especially in theater, and be like, yay, I'm part of the Star Wars, the Star
yeah.
Wars fun, and just
The experience of it all, right?
exactly. So
Uh, I may say your name wrong. I apologize. Is it Cavatino or Cavatano? Anyway, sorry, but I am none to Star Wars now. Well, that's why we were doing this. We want to make
mm-hmm,
sure that we constantly refocus you to know there's two different universes, right? There's Disney Star Wars, and
mm-hmm.
there's the stuff that happened before, and there's no reason to not enjoy what happened before. And also make sure everybody understands and appreciates basically the miracle that was Star Wars, just making this thing happen. It's still sort of like blows my mind sometimes when I think about it.
And
Um,
in the end, it was Star Wars that brought generations together.
mhm.
Generations, you know, got married and had children of their own and passed on that legacy, and that legacy now is starting to pass down their legacy. So it's amazing how it's flourished this time. Now, I understand with the current Star Wars, it's not, for lack of a better term, great.
Yeah, it's just a letdown, right? So
It is.
it's a disappointing mess. You just
Yes.
feel you just feel betrayed
So
a lot by it. But yeah, I
so
understand.
I'd prefer to talk about the good memories that
Hmm.
Star Wars brought us together, and in multiple different ways. Some are more super fans than others, but still in the long run, we all love the franchise, and especially with the books that Lucas gave us, and the games that Lucas gave us, and just all of it all together. I mean, he was also very much a paradigm in and of itself by allowing fan films to really flourish too.
Yeah, that
And
is
that,
really not talked about enough. You're right.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, there's great stuff out there on YouTube. So it's not just Disney Star Wars, guys.
Yeah.
There are actual fan. I won't say actual fans. That sounds very condescending, but there are fans out there who love the franchise so much that they've created fan films. So I would encourage people to support them too. So to keep real Star Wars alive.
Right. So just call me Chi. I can definitely call you Chi. Yeah, sounds great. And Chi says that you're a young kid. There you go,
Yeah.
Max. We've kicked off with you know, what every lady likes to hear. All right. So Phantom Menace is the best of the worst. Of the prequels, I actually prefer Revenge of the Sith. I actually just felt like it was a better complete film and they delivered on kind of what they were accomplishing. But I'm not going to throw shade at any of the prequels. I kind of treat them as a big lump. I don't have I have bias also with Phantom Menace because I took our little boys and
Okay. Yeah.
they were little. They were like 2 and 3 and
Okay.
they literally jumped out of their seat to pretend they had lightsabers in that opening sequence with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. It was like, yeah, the boys were just if they weren't all my kids have been raised around Star Wars because I would just have it on. Like they were
Right.
just little and it would just be on in the background. So when Phantom Menace came along, now they're just immersed in it. And of course, all the toys. Do you remember like the toy sections and how massive these things were? And like for the prequels, I mean, it was just insane.
I mean, do you remember Toys R Us really
Of
filled
course.
like several aisles worth of the Star Wars toys? It was really
It was
awesome.
the whole front of a Walmart. You go into
Oh
Walmart,
yeah.
it's like the whole front of the store was remodeled. Like it was like the size of those like optical lenses sections,
Hmm.
where it's like just a whole section of the store where they had like a Naboo fighter hanging from the ceiling, and you had just
Uh-huh. Oh
hundreds. And
yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun.
Now
did you get a cool toy out of that deal where you're like, oh man, I kept that one or something?
I never really got the toys, I guess. Maybe I was just too much of a young girl, and I don't say that to be, well, I am a girl, I can
Fun.
say this, but I'm just saying I was too much of a young girl to truly appreciate and understand as much as the young boys at the time, if that
Right.
makes sense. But I do remember my brothers, especially my one of my older brothers. He loved Legos, so having Legos and Star Wars
Oh yeah.
combined, and he made like those X-wing models out of the Legos.
Mhm.
It was great. And then a lot of times at home, we had different varying colors of Legos collected over years between my brothers and I, and we would make our own X-wing versions and have our own quote unquote battles in space
Mhm.
and all this other stuff. We would make
Yes.
Y-wings and X-wings and
It's so
what was
great. It's just
yeah,
so
yeah,
much fun that it just has like this sort of limitless to its universe for a kid. I've
oh
Because
yeah.
now I'm so old, as you may have not noticed, but I'll make sure you know.
You're
I have
21 forever.
I'm on the inside. I'm more like a 7-year-old, if you ask my wife. Um,
There's nothing wrong
uh,
with that.
I have grandkids now, so I'm like
Hmm.
they're like kind of getting into it. So with New Hope,
Hmm.
the 7-year-old's like, that's my favorite ship, pops. That's my favorite. It's always talking about the Falcon. I said, well, buddy, that's the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy, buddy. That's why you like it. It's so awesome. And then my granddaughter's 5, and I've explained that because she loves princesses, and I said, well, but you haven't seen her the real princess, right? She's Princess of the Galaxy. And like, I mean, the princess you've seen are cartoons, but this is the real Princess of the Galaxy. So she
Hmm.
wants to. So I had on Phantom Menace because my grandson wanted to watch the pod race. I kept explaining that was her mom, that was the queen. She's like, yeah, I don't care. Get back to the princess. It was just, she was just not having Padme at all. She was like, no, put Princess Leia back on. I want to see her shoot a stormtrooper and talk back to Vader. And it was just my granddaughter embodied. And actually, she is born on Star Wars Day. Yesterday was her birthday, so she
Oh.
just officially turned 5. Yeah, I was so giddy when she was born on Star Wars Day. I'm that nerd. I was so giddy that she was born on Star Wars Day.
That's so cute though, because then hopefully she does turn into a fan of the franchise, and it would just be really interesting and cool just to have
Yeah,
that theme on your birthday and all that fun stuff.
absolutely. Zenzel's hands here. Hail. Hail,
Hail,
hail, hail.
hey,
Y'all are
hey.
welcome to come in here too. Feel free to click the little thing. Even if you just want to say hi or tell us a little story or tell us an experience, we're more than happy to this is an open celebration, is how I look at it. So there
Hmm.
might be hope in Everest Lucas, since she is George's biological daughter, and whether or not she picks up where her father left off. Listen, I just hope that she can enjoy what dad has done and can decide if she wants to try to continue down that, become a filmmaker, explore just being a figurehead, an ambassador for Star Wars. I mean, I'm not sure what the rules are with the legality of, dad sold it, but reality is she could still just be a great ambassador of Star Wars days and Star Wars celebrations and fan events and things. It doesn't have to be, we don't need to be anti-Disney. We can just celebrate what we like. And I think that's what I'm trying to focus on the last few weeks. It's like, look, can we just focus on what we enjoy and not get caught up in all the, because the negativity stuff's not going to stop. We can all pick on the negatives, but let's just spend some time talking about the positives.
And not everything is not without its criticisms. I mean, there were criticisms even back then of the original trilogy, and there are
Oh yeah.
criticisms of the prequel trilogy, as we all know, especially when I grew up. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's really about the individual and what they truly like and what they truly, what they're preferences are. And I don't mean that in the pronoun way. I mean as in what is something that attracts you to the franchise. You know, I always hear different things from different people. It's not necessarily, yes, the movies draw them in, but you know, people love the clones, and then they love the Republic Commando books, or
sorry, I'm trying to get our
they
video
already
ready.
they're or they're more of a Timothy Zahn fan, Zahn fan, and it's just, or they're more a fan of the comics, or there are those who are more leaning towards the video games, and not everybody loves all the video games. You know, they're definite huge KOTOR fans. But I'm sure there are people out there, because we're not all the same and we don't live in an echo chamber, that they may not like KOTOR. They may like more of the X-Wing type games, or, you know, we're all very vast and different in what we like. I think the majority of us prefer the better Star Wars, in my opinion, because at least there seemed to be a lot more depth to the stories. But that's really, you know, but I think you can't deny the fact that there are people who do like current Star Wars. So yeah, it is what it is. But at the same time, you know, we all are all individuals, and we all prefer our own what we like. So I mean,
I quote my younger son, because he'll say, he said this a while ago about Phantom Menace. I love it for all the wrong reasons, Dad. And meaning because of the experience and the nostalgia, and it was his first one like yours and all of that. It's like, it really doesn't matter that I know that it's not as good as the other films and the prequel or even the original. He's like, it doesn't matter. It's special because it was my introduction. It was where I really where it took off for me personally, is what he basically means. So, and it's also saying what you were saying. Like, I'm more video games. Like, yeah, it's cool, man. I'm totally down. I understand.
Yeah, and there's so many of us out there who have our, you know, personal preferences to things, and I mean, some people are just more of the Lego fans, so it's just, you know, it's just, it is what it is. We can't all sway. I mean, yes, we need to look at things objectively, but at the same time, I've occasionally liked things that, you know, that are dumb and not, you know, not really the best storylines, but you know what, I enjoy it. So
we can't have guilty pleasures. I have said for years, other than people in this little genre circle, most people don't get it when I talk about how much I love Tron. They just don't get it, because it's just not that, you know, it's like, it doesn't age particularly well, and it's kind of simplistic and whatever. And it's like, no, but I love Tron. I love Tron. So it's okay. Anyway, War Monkey's here. Welcoming you back, Mags.
Hey, War Monkey.
Yeah. Right.